This bathroom has an old, noisy exhaust vent. Today I'm going to show you how to replace it with one that's not only quieter, it has more features. So first, a couple things about buying a fan. Fans are rated in CFMs and zones. CFM means cubic feet per minute. It's a measure of airflow. And if you look at the top of your box, it'll tell you how many CFMs they recommend for the size of your bathroom. So the other thing is zones. It's a measurement of sound. The higher the number, the louder the fan. 2 is considered quiet. A very important part about this installation is to make sure your fan vents outside. If it doesn't exhaust outside, moisture can collect and you're gonna have problems down the road. If your exhaust fan's on the first floor like ours, it needs to exhaust through the sidewall. If it goes into the attic, it needs to go through the gable wall or through the roof. If you don't have access to your attic, you'll have to vent it through the sidewall. Since our fan's a replacement, we're able to use our old switch, which makes things a lot easier. Now, if your new fan also has a light and you want to control that separately, you're going to need to add another switch. Now, if you feel uncomfortable working with electricity, call an electrician. Now it's time to remove our old fan. The first thing you're going to want to do is turn off the power at the breaker. So the next thing I'm going to do is remove the fan cover. That simply just pulls down. You spring in these 2 little clips and it comes right down. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and check with this meter and make sure that the power is off. Now you can remove the motor from the housing if possible. Ours is plugged into the wiring box. Then disconnect the wiring. Some fans are held in place by screws secured to the joists. In our case, the fan is held in place by brackets between the joists. I'll use an oscillating saw to cut the brackets. You may be able to remove your housing by just taking out the mounting screws. Now slide it over to one side of the opening to remove the electrical connections. Then take off the duct. Now it's time to install our fan. Always follow the instructions that came with your fan. Now our fan fits in our existing hole. If yours doesn't, simply trace along the perimeter and cut it out with the keyhole saw. Now when installing our fan, we want it to be properly supported. We want to have at least one side attached to a ceiling joist. In our case, we have a small gap between the drywall and the ceiling joist, so we're going to take a small piece of wood and attach it to the ceiling joist to bring it out closer to the edge of the hole. On the other side, we're going to take a piece, lay it flat on top of the drywall, run screws through so we have something supported on the other side. Now if your hole's a little too big like ours is, you're going to need to make a filler. I've made one here out of drywall and a piece of 1x. We're going to screw those together, lay it on top of the drywall, and run screws up through the ceiling. Fill any holes or damage with spatula. Next, we're going to install our duct connector to our existing duct using HVAC tape. Now, if you don't have an existing duct and don't have access to install one, consult a pro. Later, I'm going to show you how to install a duct in your attic. Then secure the connector on the ceiling. Now use a screwdriver to remove the wiring knockout. Then remove the wiring cover and add a cable clamp to the cover and pull the house wires through. This fan came with quick connectors instead of wire caps. Match up the colors and push the bare house wire into the quick connector, and that's it. Then push the wires back into the housing and reattach the wiring box cover. We can secure the housing now. Line up the housing with the duct connector and slide it into the hole and attach it with screws. Now to install the vent cover, press in these little springs. I'm going to put them in the slots and then press our cover into place. Next, we're going to turn our breaker back on. Then we have to flip our switch and see if it works. So how about an attic installation? Our house, the fans were already properly vented through a sidewall, so I went ahead and built this model to show you how to properly install vents in your attic. Now it's pretty common to see a fan that's not vented at all, where all that steamy, warm air is just going to collect inside the attic on the underside of the wood and create a mold problem. Now it's also pretty common to see the fan that's vented through the soffits. Now this is also wrong, because once that air leaves through the soffits, it's just gonna come right back in the attic, causing that same moisture problem. You're gonna have the same problem going through your ridge vent. That warm air is just gonna get sucked right back into your attic. So the proper way to vent a fan in an attic is either through a gable wall or through the roof. We're gonna show you how to go through the roof. So we picked up this roof duct kit that comes with this flexible hose. For our project, we're gonna be using this insulated hose, which is real easy to install, plus the insulation is gonna keep any condensation from happening when that warm air from the bathroom meets that cold duct in the attic. Now remember, when you're doing this for real, you're gonna be working off a ladder. And if you're not comfortable working on a ladder or don't have a lot of experience, you might wanna call a pro. So the first thing we're gonna do is connect the duct to the fan with some HVAC tape, just like we did downstairs in the bathroom. You're gonna pull back the duct insulation as needed, and then you're gonna run the other end over to your exhaust location. Cut the duct with some scissors. You can use a knife and wire snip. Next, drill a pilot hole through the roof between two rafters. When the bit goes through, leave it in the hole so you can find it from the outside. On the roof side, locate the drill bit and use a hole saw to cut a 5-inch hole through the shingles. Slide the duct connector into the roof cap and set it in the hole. Even it up and trace the outline for the shingles. Follow the guide that came with your vent and trim the shingles as directed. You should be cutting inside your outline so that the shingles will overlap the vent when it's installed. Apply roof cement around the hole. Insert the roof cap back into the hole, making sure the shingles overlap the flange. Secure it in place with roofing nails, then use roofing cement over the nail heads and seal the shingles to the top sides of the roof cap. From the inside, attach the duct to the vent You might have to tape all duct joints with HVAC tape and replace the insulation between the joists.
And now your attic exhaust fan is properly ventilated. Want more great ideas and how-tos? Go to Lowes.com/howto.